It's one of the most controversial components of Alaska's crime reform, the state's new pretrial enforcement division.
Tonight, KTVA 11's Daniela Rivera is taking a closer look at the pretrial GPS monitoring, because when the state's errors fail victims of crime, you need to know.
The state's been having problems keeping track of these guys, Kyle Andrews and Kennedy Talley, both violent assault suspects. This is video of Talley at his victim's doorstep with a gun. Both were released on the state's pretrial GPS monitoring. But when they violated their conditions, within hours of being released, instead of being tracked and rearrested, they got phone calls and more freedom.
Never, not once, ever is it okay. It's that simple.
We sat down with the experts, representatives from the remaining 3 private electronic monitoring companies in Alaska.
My question to them would be, why do you have this monitor on them if you don't go and find them before it dies?
Glenn Hamby with Alaska Defendant Monitoring, Dennis Johnson with Alaska Pretrial Services, and Matthew Baskett with Pioneer Peak Monitoring say there's no reason why a suspect released on a GPS tracker should be unaccounted for days.
What can happen in that time?
I mean, literally anything can happen in that time.
Since he has a victim, he can go right to the victim's house and nobody's going to pay attention. Well, PED's not paying attention.
We learned about the problems from the state's own records, warrants filed by the Pretrial Enforcement Division, or PED.
Is this accountability?
No way, shape, or form.
All right, what you like your device says.
With the help of a KTVA employee, they're going to show us how GPS monitoring should work.
All right, good luck, guys.
He gets a head start to head toward a hiding place of his choice.
Okay, our device is on the move now.
And soon, we're en route to find him.
We're just now departing his inclusion zone, which would have been KTVA. What route of travel do you have for him?
He went west on 24th Avenue.
I think rather than go in my apartment, we're going to check out the area behind there.
The accuracy is within 20 feet right now. It appears that he may be behind the building or he may be inside the building.
Got it. If you see any changes in the movement of the traces, call us.
Okay, we'll do.
I'll take this side. You want to take that side?
Hey, bud. How's it going?
They got it. You guys got me.
Our smiling suspect now in custody. They show us another tool they can use for suspects who are harder to find.
There's absolutely no reason whatsoever that if we have somebody who's violated, PED or private, that we should not be putting ourselves out there for what we've agreed to do.
We made repeated attempts to speak with the PED or someone at the Department of Corrections for this story. The DOC sent a statement admitting errors were made, but would not agree to an interview.
I believe they 100% owe everybody an explanation of what's going on, because pre-PED 2018, my company would be shut down for that right there.
By the state?
By the state. One of those. No judge would ever give me another person to monitor if I did that.
Suspects continue to be released to PED supervision and will continue to ask questions, because if public safety is at risk, Alaskans need to know. So something you don't see in that video, because it was just a demonstration, is something called a victim notification. They all told me that if a defendant violates their conditions of release, the very first call made is a call to the victim. And Joe and Megan, I can tell you in Kennedy Talley's case, his victim told me PED did not notify her that they had no idea where he was.
Wow, eye-opening for sure. So, Daniela, there are just 3 private companies left, but there used to be some more, actually.
Well, that's right. The Pretrial Enforcement Division has only been in operation for 10 full months, but Johnson says that's had a real impact on the private industry. He said there used to be 13 companies. Now, as you saw, there were 3. Now, they said they wanted to work with the state to set this big project up, but the state apparently wasn't interested. The state hired almost 60 of their own officers, and they're contracting with a company in the lower 48 for that equipment they're using. Okay, so we do have a statement from the Department of Corrections as well as an extended look at that tracking demonstration, and that's all at ktva.com. Daniela, thank you.
It is not the claim